Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of That Real Estate Tech Guy. I'm your host, Jordan Samuel Fleming. And what a great episode we have today. My friend Steve Trang from Objection Proof AI. You'll also know him from Real Estate Disruptors. Steve is, let's be honest, a bit of a legend in the sales training sphere in real estate investing. You'll know his name, you'll know his face, for good reason. He's amazing at it. And he has pivoted into the AI space hard and built some amazing tools that smartphone actually, apparently we're still the only ones who fully integrate with it. But we immediately integrated with it because of how much we value Steve and, how much we believe in his vision. This is a great episode to be, this has got a lot of gems in it, from talking about core sales training, talking about some of the ways that Steve's tools can reinforce and identify, good habits, bad habits, reinforce training, and of course pivoting to the conversations around voice AI agents themselves and what they can do and what Steve's building, what we're building. It is a phenomenal opportunity to hear Steve articulate a great vision and really give a behind the scenes look at some of the amazing things that he's done in this space. It's always a pleasure to speak with Steve. I like him very much. And, I'm always, honored when he comes in and speaks in one of my things. So do enjoy this phenomenal, episode with Steve Trang, Objection Proof AI. And, at the end and in the show notes, there will be how you can get in touch with Steve and how you can try out his amazing tools. And I recommend you do that. All right, and I'm live with my friend Steve Trang from Objection Proof AI. Steve, absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. In case someone doesn't know, give us a little introduction on you and what you're doing these days.
These days, I am basically building an AI that can more or less sell for you. So we've been doing the AI for call reviews. We've been doing AI for role-playing bots. We've been doing AI for appointment setting, for follow-up for following up with calls, scheduling appointments. So yeah, we're basically doing everything with AI that as a business owner, you get frustrated with your sales team about. We take care of those menacing headaches so that you can do what you do best, build relationships, focus on strategy, focus on the vision, getting the company moving forward versus getting into the nitty gritty and, dealing with the salespeople, because that's where the biggest headaches are.
Well, and I think what's really interesting about this is you are uniquely kind of qualified from this angle, because for years, if people don't know about you around AI yet, because this is a newer part of you, what they'll probably recognize your name from is the sales training, is being a leader in sales training. And I think that's really interesting, because a lot of times it's technology first when people approach these problems, as opposed to real world experience first.
Yeah.
And you come at it from a real world experience first point of view. So can you give a little background for those who aren't familiar around your experience with sales and sales training and why that kind of crosses over nicely?
Sure. Yeah. I appreciate you asking that. So, just real quick, right? I started in real estate 2007 as a realtor, right? I went the wrong way, but started as a realtor. And eventually started buying houses and this and that. In 2019 is when I started actually training other organizations on how to sell. So looking back over the last 6+ years, about 6.5 years now, I've literally trained thousands of salespeople. I've coached hundreds of business owners. And these days I'm consulting with 9-figure companies, right, on sales. And so, yeah, sales is something I've been deeply passionate about. I went all in on it back in 2018, learned everything I could, picked up every book, tried, tested everything. We know what works. We know what doesn't work, because we do objection handling every single Wednesday with, again, thousands of salespeople. We know, like, hey, when you say this turns into a contract. When you say that, hey, that in theory, that should have turned into a contract. But no, that actually doesn't work in real life, right? That's the book theory. We know what works, we know what doesn't work, and that's what we put into our AI.
Well, let me dive into a few things around that, because there's the AI element, which is pure technology.
Yes.
But that doesn't interest me as much as its direction to the problem solve, right? The technology itself is the technology, but the problem solve is more important for most business owners. So,
Yes.
Sales, I don't have nearly your experience of training sales, but I have trained a lot of salespeople over the years because I was good at sales and figured some things out. I don't have your qualifications, but I have noticed over the years that, there are certain undeniable skills that you can teach people and that you can train, absolutely train, and that I prefer the skills versus the script.
Mm-hmm.
And, like my view is teaching skills will be far superior to teaching scripts because skills allows you to move with conversation.
Exactly.
What do you think some of the key sales skills, not just objection handling, but some of the other key sales skills that you've trained, what do you think matter most? And what do you think translates easiest to your AI tools?
So, Chris Voss did a podcast with Andrew Huberman. Chris Voss, he wrote the book Never Split the Difference. By now, if you guys haven't picked up that book, pick up that book. Andrew Huberman, well-known, brain guy, right? But he's at a podcast, and they did a podcast together. And on that podcast, Chris Voss gave the coldest, most sanitized definition of empathy. And his definition of empathy is the transmission of information. And so where I'm going to go with this, all right? Because what is it? I can demonstrate that I heard Jordan and I can articulate back to Jordan everything he told me in his words, right? If I can communicate that I understand you, that's empathy, right? And so if you look at like what is the core human need, what I've learned over the years, the core human need is not necessarily to be right. It's not necessarily to win. The core human need is to be seen, heard, appreciated, understood, right? So if I can demonstrate, Jordan, I see where you're coming from. I understand what you're going through. I can articulate back to you how you got into this mess, what's keeping you up at night, what you're hoping the future looks like, and how this problem or this solution solves your problem. If I can articulate all those things back to you, you're good, right? And so when we're talking about like getting that back into the AI, well, AI can do all those things, right?
That's super trainable.
That's super trainable. If you look at like, I remember Jamil Damji, he came on my podcast. Jamil and I, we've been friends since 2012, right? Before he took off, before I took off, he was my wholesale guy. He actually mentored me quite a bit in wholesaling. He was the guy I called, like, hey, Jamil, I'm on the way to this property. What can you pay? And then I just have to knock off 10,000 from that, right? Like that was the approach. So, he was on my podcast and he said that the reason why he recommends everyone to train with Steve is because Steve is a robot. And if Steve can sell, if a robot can teach you how to sell, you should learn from that person versus the guy that's charismatic and charming. He's got the great smile and this and that, right? Because that stuff, that's the intangible. I'm not saying you're necessarily born with it, but there are definitely people that have more of that than others, right? The charming, the gift of gab, and so on. But the skill of connecting, demonstrating empathy, demonstrating connection, trust, being able to build the relationship that a doctor or lawyer or a financial planner will create with a client, that's what we teach. Again, we can put all that into AI.
I agree, actually. And, we're in a boat. You and I are in a weird situation in some ways because, people may not know that obviously, first of all, we have two separate technology products, but we collaborate very closely. And you've got amazing technology. We're also building technology, but we're maintaining our collaboration.
Yes.
Because we both win. But I've been really having a blast, with some of the agent training. Mm-hmm. Because your point is so valid. The idea that empathy is about being heard and seen, I think is a really good point because I think people think empathy is about an emotional outpouring. Mm-hmm. And like, that's what they think it should be. And empathy isn't, you're absolutely right. What most people want is to not feel like they're on, particularly if you're talking about phone sales, is to not feel like they're on a phone with someone who's going, So, and how many bedrooms is that? Like, that I want you to hear the fact that I'm worried about paying the bills because my husband died.
Yeah.
I want you to hear that and go, geez, okay, I understand your situation and I want to work with you to help. That's what matters,
Not only is that what
not an
matters,
emotional outpouring.
not only is that what matters, the more you can communicate to me and the more I can demonstrate to you I understand you, the more you're bought into my solution. Because like, well, if he gets me and he's suggesting the solution, well, it must make sense, right? But if I haven't taken the time to understand your situation and I give you a solution, it's like, well, that doesn't work for me. My situation is different.
That is such a classic salesperson. That's such a classic shitty salesperson thing, right? Which is come in with the solution right away.
Yes.
You don't even know my name yet. And you're telling me you're telling me you've got a solution for me and you haven't even figured out, like where my property is if you're in real estate. And that is such bad salespeople, that kind of used car salespeople approach, who just come in pitching product and pitching all that, as opposed to come in and going, all right, first off, how are you and what's going on?
Exactly. Another thing too is, so we're talking about like, the feelings and this and that, like so many people think sympathy is important. And I will say, this is based off my experience and all the people we've trained. Empathy is way more important than sympathy. And I can say that because you'd be really hard pressed to ever find me crying. I am emotionally broken, right? My wife says I've got a stone heart. Like nothing makes me cry. But I've always had a lot of success because I understood what you're going through. I didn't feel what you're going through. I understood what you were going through, and I could articulate back to you what you're going through. And that's what demonstrated the trust and the connection. That's what built that, not me putting my hand on your forearm and crying with you and praying with you. That's not what builds trust. That's what builds rapport. That's what builds like. But you don't buy based off of like. You don't buy based off rapport. You base off of trust and faith that the other person has your back.
I think okay, people listening to this and watching this, that's the masterclass right there on a masterclass on understanding what really matters when you sell. And because I think so many people have this erroneous idea that sales is projection. That sales is patter. It's flash. It's speaking quick and tricking people almost. And I think you are, where I have been successful in sales is because it's just me and we're talking and I'm listening to you and finding out what's really going on. That's where let's pivot to AI. So you've got Objection Proof AI, which is your new venture, which is going great. And I'm very proud that Smartphone, I believe, is the first system. Still the only. I wasn't going to go there, but I'll take it.
8 months later, still the only company that integrates with us.
That's crazy. But in fact, just yesterday, we had a customer that you referred to us reach out to me directly because they wanted to set up and they were using a rival product of ours and, which I will not name, and doesn't integrate fully. And so you said, hey, just use Smartphone. And we've got that now. We've set them up today. I had my team get involved. So Objection Proof, I think what's really exciting is you've got a suite of products that can fit so many different needs.
Yes.
It's not just the one. And so let's start with the agent training kind of because there's two essential products that you have that work well for agent training. So let's start with that before we move on to the AI that can actually make the calls and talk to people. Yeah. Start with the training. Give us an outline of how those products work.
Sure. So, some time ago, we actually had a client ask us, Steve, what do you look for in a call review? Because we'll do call reviews in our coaching calls. And by the way, if we do a call review, if it's an hour-long call, it'll take me 8 minutes, or it'll take me an hour to get through the 8 minutes. We never get past the 8 minutes. One of the complaints I had from my team is Steve, we never get past the 8 minute mark. It's well, be good in the first 8 minutes, right? And so we do the call reviews, and the client's like, Steve, what exactly are you listening for on the call review? It's like, that's a good point. So Ian and I, we took the time over the course of 2 hours, and we just wrote down every single thing I'm listening for in a call review, right? After we wrote down all those things, when we rolled out this AI call review bot, is basically we just had AI listen for those same exact things. And so the reason why this is important is that nothing makes me want to like run into a brick wall harder than doing call reviews. Call reviews are painful because they know better and they still deviate from the process. And so with call reviews, now we have the bots automatically doing it. What happens is AI does all the dirty work, and you come in and fix what it finds. So for example, if you look at a doctor, a heart surgeon, right? When you go in for heart surgery, you have one person that checks you in, one person that checks your insurance, your driver's license, one other person that checks your blood pressure and your heart rate, and your weight. Another person puts you in the IV. Another puts you in the anesthesiology. Another person opens up your chest, and then the heart surgeon comes in, right? That's when the heart surgeon comes in. And so if you look at call reviews, what we're doing now with AI is that AI will do all the other work that's not the highest dollar per income activity, dollar per hour activity, and you come in and do the heart surgery on the call review, right? And you don't have to lose your mind and get high blood pressure, listen to the call for 30 minutes or an hour.
And also the call, like I 100% agree. But the other exciting bit about this is historically, because call reviews take so much time, because you've got to invest the time to listen and critically analyze, right? Otherwise there's no fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
Because they take so much time, what we used to do was, we would select 3 calls, 3 good, 3 bad, etc. Right? We'd do our best. And a lot of times that was arbitrary based on what the outcome of the call was, right? The call went well because we got something out of it. But you were never able to really see patterns of behavior with your agents because you were only cherry picking a certain amount of calls to review because you had to. Whereas now, and I don't think we've finished the dashboard element for objection proof yet in our system. I don't know what I'm going to have to just maybe think about it. But what I love about it is, because with our integration with you, every single call gets pushed over in its cord.
Yeah.
You can actually see true performance patterns in a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, call-to-call pattern base, which identifies the outliers, both good and bad. The good outliers of the people who are crushing their calls so that you can zero in and figure out why, and the bad outliers for people who aren't. And it's no longer the guesstimate based on a few calls, right? That's what I think is where your call scoring tool is for the win.
Yeah, there's that. Absolutely. Because as a sales manager or a business owner, you can go there and you can look at trends. The other thing, too, is we require our salespeople, and we suggest this to all our clients, but we require our salespeople, we have all the call reviews go into a group chat that they can all see. And we require our sales guys to actually go in there and digest the call review and get feedback on it. And what we've seen is by having this tighter feedback loop, our guys are getting better faster, right? They're getting better faster. And the other thing, too, is I can see where they're at based off how they digest it, meaning when they say, well, this is what happened, or this is what they said, or here's the reason why we end up in this situation, the words they put in there, I can see even more clearly because I have the call review and I have their response to the call review. I know exactly where they're stuck and I can fix it even faster.
Now, I'm sorry to interrupt this amazing conversation, but I wanted to make sure you knew that Smartphone, the only phone system built for real estate investors, connects to the best-in-class real estate investment CRMs. And because, as it's my show and I am co-founder and chairman of Smartphone, I got some great deals for you. Click the link and take advantage of 5,000 minutes free calling with Smartphone, the only phone system built for real estate investors. Click and call. Close more leads. Back to the show. And what people don't realize, I think, is, the best people want to improve.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? The best players want, I remember watching Michael Jordan's documentary, that Netflix, The Last Dance.
Fantastic documentary.
which I've watched at this point maybe 10 times. I don't know why. And I'm not even a basketball guy. But it is I'm at the age where my young life was the Chicago Bulls of that era, right? I'm 47. So that kind of like that is exactly in my teenage sweet spot. But there's something about that documentary that keeps me watching it over and over again. And when I think about one of the things that he says all the time is, I want to play with the best. I don't want to play with the worst. I want to be around the best. If I can play someone who's better than me, then that's my new target. Cause now I'm coming after you. Right. Yeah. And I mean, he would say I'm coming after you basically to kill you, but good salespeople are the same. They don't want to be B players. They don't want to be C players.
No,
those good salespeople want to always be A players. And this is a tool that will help them maintain or get to A player status.
Or quit, which is great too.
Which is equally good.
Yes. Also great.
Which weeds out the shit.
Yes. Yeah, this is the standard. You don't like the standard? Go waste someone else's marketing dollars.
100%. And that's, you and I have talked about this before, about the idea of AI replacing people. Well, there are going to be some people who are replaced. It's usually the shit people. It's the people and I don't mean that as a person, I don't mean that as a personal, as a human being. Of course not. That's not about who you are. It just means, the top performers are likely going to maintain their status as top performers. And the people who are kind of just getting by or not doing well, they are going to be weeded out. That is the nature of the game. And I don't think that's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. Well, I worry about what they're going to do, but it's not a bad thing because really this is all we're doing now is we're just improving efficiency and effectiveness within every organization, right? Which is the goal for every business. Like we are an organism that has to get better every day, every week, every month, every year. This is helping us get better faster.
Absolutely. So now, you've got the call scoring, then you've also got the role playing. And role playing is something I think I think a lot of people are self-conscious with role playing. Yeah. So I think this AI element is a great opportunity. Just briefly talk us through that part.
Yeah. So what we did was we created some role-playing bots because this is what you want to use for two different things. One, for training your salespeople, but two, also we use it as a screening tool, right? We're not even going to bring you in for an interview if you don't do well with our role-play bot, right? And so, but with our role-play bot, we have 5 different ones. You can practice with them, you can train with them, and you can get better, right? And the other thing too with the role-play bot is that it actually scores it the same way that our regular call review does. So you still get the same tests, you still get the same analysis. But the other thing too is the reason why I think the business owners like our tool is because, as you know, if Jordan comes in here, he's like, "Hey guys, have you role played today?" and they say no, then Jordan needs to role play with the team, and that sucks, right? So now we have this role play tool. I can log in. Oh, they haven't role played today. Hey guys, what's going on? Right? Like go go role play with the bots, or you can set a time for it, right? You can go in there, have the bot call your team. And so the point here is that you can make it a normal routine. You practice. Dean Rogers, Stratton Brown, these are good friends of mine. One played professional football, one played D1 football, and they both said the same thing. Practice was always harder than game day, right? They practiced harder. Game day was easy. Why don't we do the same thing in sales? For whatever reason.
Is the payoff.
Game
day is the fun. Yeah. Game day is the fun that you get for the shit you eat in practice.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the party. I do a running program right now with a coach on my treadmill, but it's funny. I just finished a 10K training program. And at the end of it, he was like, guys, cause then I had to run the 10K. And at the end of it, I remember him saying, guys, the 10K is the party. It's a celebration. You put in the 6 weeks of work and graft to get here. The 10K, you just get to that and you just smile the whole way and enjoy it because this is the payoff. And I see that like, and role playing or any sort of training is the graft you get for that payoff of making the sale or of doing this and improving and doing more and more and more.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's the right mindset. I mean, I know for myself, I've always hated running 5Ks and so on and so on. Well, I didn't want to put in the work beforehand.
And it gets a lot easier when you put in the work.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's move on to the voice, to the agents, because, I mean, this is a space that we're all in now, that you're in, we're in together. We're going to continue to collaborate on. It's definitely an enormous opportunity. Talk to me a bit about the types of agents that you guys have right now and where you're going.
So we have 3 different agents today, and we're going to have more. But the 3 we have today, one is a web form. Someone fills out a web form. AI calls it, instant speed to lead, right? Shout out to Steve Nash with the Suns, 7 seconds or less, right? We're getting onto that lead probably in less than 2 seconds, realistically, right? They fill out a web form, AI calls them, books an appointment, or does a live transfer. We have 2 different versions of that bot, right? So book an appointment or a live transfer. We have another one for inbound. So if you're after hours, weekends, holidays, or, if someone calls during the day, after 2 rings, have AI take the call, right? Exactly. So you have a 100% answer rate. So we have AI here now taking inbound calls and booking appointments. And then the third one we just rolled out last week is follow-up bots, which is basically you go into CRM, you tag these 50 people, and then AI will call them. So now AI will call them, get them to raise their hand, do a live transfer into your organization, and now you get an appointment again. So you're able to reactivate your CRM because there's literally everyone's got 6 figures easily in their CRM that's just waiting to be talked to. But we're all too busy, right? We're always chasing the hot leads, the new leads. We're putting out fires in our organization. We got escrows falling out. We got lenders screaming at us. We got sellers screaming at us. Titles wondering where we're at. All these things are happening. We all
it's a forever problem.
Yeah. So now
forever problem with your investors.
Yeah. So now we got follow-up bots. So like I'll give you an example. Like Eric Brewer, he just signed up with us a couple weeks ago. He's at 60,000 people that have raised their hands in the last 5 years. How much money do you think he has in his CRM right now? So
yeah, absolutely. I know Eric, and he's got a great company, and your point is so valid as a general problem for real estate investors that this solves, which is you've got these, I think all investors are at heart slightly shiny key people. They're slightly right. There's slightly new leads. Everybody talks about the new leads as opposed to the leads you already have, the gold to your point that's already in the system. And I do think that AI and these sorts of structures play such an obvious role on, and a more qualified role in many ways, on chasing up and never letting these things go. And I love the idea. Your point is also really valid on, 100% answer rate, because nothing makes a lead go colder quicker than having to leave a voicemail and wait for a call back.
Or, I used to use an agency, right? And then you listen to the calls from the agency, and it's awful, right? And it's like, what's the hell happened here? It's like, oh, okay, so you got a bunch of minimum wage college kids treating the leads
who don't know shit.
Yeah,
and they're basically ruining. A lot of times, if you're outsourcing this to an outside call center like this, you're getting zero qualification. They know nothing about your business. They know nothing about the industry. They know nothing about these leads. And they're kind of running a script not very well and not very enthusiastically.
Yeah, exactly. So I worked in a call center, right? One of my first jobs out of high school was a call center. Listen, that's not the place you want sending your leads.
No, and I love you, and you that alone. I mean, I've always sort of taught people never go to voicemail when you can, never get a call back when you can do a live transfer. Mm-hmm. Right? Anytime you have someone on the line, keep them on the line and try and get to the next stage. Don't, the moment you go, yeah, I'll get my manager to call you back, you've lost the impetus, right away.
Yeah.
And that's where I think I'm so excited about technologies like the voice AI agents that we're talking about, because it takes some of those pain points and it 24/7 automates it. It's
Yeah.
never going to be a problem again.
Yeah. It doesn't have to go eat. It doesn't have to sleep. It doesn't have to go to the bathroom. And the best line I heard, I was talking to someone like, you don't ever have to worry about AI getting you pregnant, right?
Oh, well, as I get my HR rep for the company asking me why.
Right.
But
But these days, right? Look, there's maternity and paternity leave at a lot of companies, right? So like, it's a problem.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you don't have to worry about someone having a bit of a shit day. They've had a crappy time at home. They didn't sleep well. AI is going to answer that call every single time the exact same way and the exact with no variation of external mood.
Right.
Right? No, I'm in a good mood. No, I'm in a shit mood. Right? And so often at times, the variance I see in agent performance, not AI agent, but in person performance, you may have you may have a really, really top person, but if they're having a shit day, that performance will drop 50% because they're just not there mentally.
I mean, how many times have we had this conversation? These two different conversations. Hey, Jordan, when you go out with your buddies this weekend, can you just do me a favor and drink enough water before you go to bed? Right? We've had to have that conversation or the other conversation. Hey, Jordan, look, I understand you're going through some tough times at home. I need you to check all your personal issues at the door when you walk into the company. We've had to
Which
have
is
both those
impossible.
conversations. Huh?
But it's also impossible. You can say check your emotions at the door. You
Yeah.
can say anything, but we carry everything with us all the time,
Hmm.
and AI doesn't.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's all there is to it. It is the future of it is the future. Now you're continuing to build agents I mean, one elephant in the room of all this is always going to be around compliance.
Hmm.
I've talked about this.
Yeah.
And which is also why I believe both of us have taken the stance that cold calling isn't where we're going with our agents, because cold calling is, to me, it's a compliance nightmare that is already, out of the box, out of the gate, it's frowned upon and is a no-go, and it's going to get worse. But where do you see, some of the other opportunities coming? Or do you see it as different capability? Like, how far do you think an agent can go? Because you talk now about agents actually closing deals. To me, the danger, well, to me, the danger of that, and I'm fascinated with it, is, with all of our agents, we've built in a certain amount of guardrails where they're not allowed to make offers
Hmm.
because, of course, your parameters of offers have to be decided upon very rigorously. How do you see that kind of game going?
Well, um, so what are the challenges in making an offer? The biggest thing is, can you underwrite it in real time? Right? Like, that's the biggest thing. So as long as we can underwrite it in real time, there's not really an issue. And the there's not a great AI underwriting tool today. No, there's not one that I'm aware of that exists. However, 4 months from now, I'm convinced it will exist. Right? Um, so if our stated goal is September of 2026. My internal goal is March of 2026.
March? I was gonna say March. I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess.
My internal goal is March of 2026. And I'm convinced that someone will be able to figure out underwriting before then. There's a company, Bestia. I believe you've talked to Vac over there.
Yep.
They're some smart guys, and they're figuring out a bunch of stuff with data and AI and houses and so on. We got Robert Wensley with InvestorLift. He's also working on the same problem. We're going to be building AI bots for InvestorLift at some point. I've talked to him because they're all opt-in, so it's compliant. So once you know what the deal can sell for, once you know you can underwrite it,
You've
then
got parameters to play with.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And actually, as long as you have that information, then the training of the agent and the parameters you give the agent is relatively black and white. Like
Yeah.
the question is knowing the underwriting. Cause if you've got that quick enough and in real time, that can feed the parameters the agent gets, and the agent will know, well, the lowest I can go or the highest I can go is here. And my goal is here. And this is a super extra goal or whatever it is. But you can, AI is all about guardrails in
Yes.
terms of like, I think people think a lot of times it's all about the training. Yes, of course, the training is critical, but guardrails to me are as equally important, if not more, with AI agents. And what you're saying is, I think, very true. As long as we get the data, we can put the guardrails up.
Yeah. I actually had coffee with Nick Perry a couple of days ago. And what he shared with me is that his AI underwriting is now doing better than his human underwriting as a company.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
I mean, it's not surprising in some ways because underwriting should be a relatively black and white process. It's not like, I don't know why you need a human involved with it in many ways. Like
well, I know
there's
that
a lot
there's
of
a lot
data.
of the country. I mean, like, for example, in the older parts of Phoenix, right? And I say older, like 40s and earlier, right? It's harder, but like in my neck of the woods, Chandler, Gilbert, Tempe, pretty much they're all pretty similar in the neighborhood. If I know what three houses sold for in the neighborhood, I know what the fourth house is going to sell for,
Yeah.
right? And so in newer markets, the bigger markets, it's going to be easier to underwrite. But there's always like other challenging markets. Like I know New Jersey is notorious for like each street
It's,
being different than the other, right? So like it's, but even then, like that's just machine learning, and machine learning can figure that out too. So yeah, I think underwriting accurately will happen before we can buy a house over the phone. So I'm not worried about that parameter because I think what we're doing is much harder, is a much more difficult problem to solve.
yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think you're solving it, these problems of that kind of that human connection and the ability to establish enough of a trust
Hmm.
to be able to move forward. People ask me, why do I think this is going to be successful? And I'm like, because I've also dealt with call centers and I've dealt with, and I've dealt with VAs who don't like, if we all know that the game is usually played right now with low level staff doing initial qualification
Hmm.
and then higher level staff doing closing.
Hmm.
That's basically how most people work now. Why do you think that lower level staff can't be AI?
Listen, I've done so many trainings. I've listened to so many calls. Um, Even the best organizations struggle in this department, right? Because, like you said, like it's a lower based compensation. These are not like if you look at uh, predictive index high A, if you look at the DISC high D personality types, they're more typically in the acquisition roles or the disposition roles. They're not so much in the lead manager roles. So the lead manager roles, they're kinder people. They're kinder people, but they're less driven. Just by the very nature, the people you hire in that role for the compensation you pay them, right? Like the lead managers make a third or fourth or a fifth of what a good acquisition manager makes. That's the reality of the compensation schedule. And so, yes, I genuinely believe we can replace them. Now, the other thing too is like, I have people asking me all the time, like, when can I replace all of them? Don't replace all your lead managers. Don't. Keep at least one awesome one. Yeah, keep your
Keep
best
the
one.
best.
Keep your best one.
Keep the best. That's where this is going. It's not, I've said this so many times. It's like, guys, I'm not about trying to replace everybody. I'm trying to replace the dross. Like, I hate to say it, but like, I don't need C-level players in my company. I want A-level players. Now that doesn't mean all of them are high drivers no, because that would be just a company of horror. Like that would be just a horrible place to work,
Yeah,
right?
yes, yes.
But you can be an A-level expressive. You can be an A-level, amiable, or you were talking disc. I'm doing a slightly different one, but you can be A-level across all the personality styles.
Mm-hmm.
but you have to be an A level. And that's where I'm super excited about the work you're doing, the work we're doing, the work that's going on right now, because you're able, if I can focus my company on the A players only, I can squeeze an enormous amount more juice from what I've got.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I
And
mean, you
that's,
see that like there's we were talking the other day, like Elon Musk, right? He can just go hire the best person in the world, right? And that guy pays for himself many times over, right? And we're trying to hire someone that's like 40,000 a year and try to get him to perform like $120,000 person, right? But if we can hire the best, then we can hire more of the best and even more of the best. I'm at an exciting point now in my business where everyone I bring into the organization has to be at this standard. Because if you're not at the standard, you're just gonna feel terrible, right?
it's going to be a terrible experience in there.
Yeah, right. Like that's at the point now where everyone's an A player. But I wasn't in this place 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, right? It's like, man, I hope Jordan makes calls today. Like that's where I was 10 years ago. I was like, I hope Jordan called that lead that came in this morning. That's where I was 10 years ago. Right now, I come in like, Jordan, what the hell happened? Like that lead came in. Well, now we have AI. We don't have to worry about that anymore. But I didn't have AI. Jordan, what the hell happened this morning? That lead came in and you didn't call it. What were you doing? And you're gonna feel bad about it, but you're also not gonna take it like personally. You're not gonna get sad about it. You're like, you're right. I messed up. Let me fix it right now. But 10 years ago,
And
man, I
those
hope
mess ups
Jordan called
don't
that
happen
lead.
nearly as much,
What's that?
right? Those that mess ups don't happen nearly as much. When you've got A
Not
players,
nearly as much.
A players still make mistakes. 100%. We all do. I make mistakes. You make mistakes. Everybody. Those happen. A players will always fix those mistakes or address them head on and be like, okay, how do I fix this? But those mistakes don't happen nearly as much.
No, not at all. Exactly.
All right. Well, before I get you to tell us how everybody can get in touch with you, how everybody can experience the magic, I do have 3 questions I always ask people on the podcast. Rapid fire questions, that, should be very easy for you. So the real estate tech guy, Fast 5. Number 1, what is the biggest mistake you personally have made with real estate investing technology over the years?
Oh, with technology. I don't know if this quite fits, but I went way too hard on media. So in 2021, right, we're all like with COVID, everyone was in the media, right? Social media and so on. And I look in at my friends, Kong Lee, Ryan Pineda, and all these other guys, right? And they've all got all these media guys. And so I hire a bunch of media guys and I nearly buried myself. At my peak, we had 7 media guys, right? To create all the content, pump all the content. Now we only have 2 and they're pumping out even more content because of AI. But we had 7 guys in our organization and I nearly killed myself, like financially. When things slowed down in 22 with between real estate first and then as a vendor second, man, that was a really tough time. But because I did it to myself, I went too hard on social media.
All right, I'll take that. There's no wrong answers, and that's an interesting story.
Yeah.
The question number 2, what's your best advice on how to integrate technology into a real estate investing business?
I would say move slowly. The greatest mistake I see happen all the time is people think about this as an all or nothing. Like, I'm not going to have no AI or I'm going to be all AI. It's like, no, like you just roll it out. You take it one step at a time, right? Roll out. I mean, you don't have to use our tool. You can roll out Fixer. You can roll out Fathom, whatever it is inside your company. Just add something once a month. Like every month, at least add something to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of your business. Because those efficiencies, they really do compound. Like I said, I have 2 guys that are pumping out more content than when I had 7 guys working full time, right? It compounds so long as you are being intentional. You take steps. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Don't try to conquer it all at once. Just add one tool, get that rolling, add another tool, get that rolling, add another tool.
That's great advice. That is very good advice. And it's something that everybody needs to listen to, particularly the all or nothing, this kind of like this weird, like mentally deficient view of it, of where I've got to go, no, all over here. And then I'm, like just iteratively bring this stuff in and you'll be able to adjust your business model.
Mm-hmm.
in spec as well, because it's not just technology. It's you've got to change your processes. You've got to change how you function and how you think as a business. And so if you just go ping ponging in, you end up causing disruption that is almost irrecoverable from.
Yeah, you're going to destroy everyone in your company.
There goes morale. Final question. If you've got a lot of people listen to this, we've got people who are just starting out in real estate technology, and you've got a long history. So if someone is starting out as an investor, what 3 types of technology or products, not branded, doesn't have to be brands, but types of products, would you recommend they start with if they're starting out in their real estate journey?
Technology, you're saying?
Technology, yeah.
So, I mean, selfishly, right? I think our stuff, I think the highest bang for the buck. I think what we got going on, I think what you got going on, smartphone. And then pick a CRM that you can commit to using. I would say those 3. Let's see what else there is. I mean, before we settle on those 3. So the things that are important, you gotta get good at marketing, you gotta get good at sales, operations. I think we kind of covered, because our stuff covers sales. CRMs covers operations. You cover operations. The only thing left is marketing, but marketing doesn't require nearly as much technology. So I would say, I mean, really, me, you, we love left main, right? So if you're looking at that, go with that. If you want to go with something that sucks, you can go with that too.
On that note, on that note, well, Steve, it's always a pleasure. I mean, genuinely a pleasure to speak to you. Always is. I've been blessed. You and I haven't known each other that long, but I feel very fortunate that Stephanie Betters from Left Main, shout out Steph, introduced us, and we've been able to really, develop a great working relationship and a personal one. How can people find you? How can people get started? I want to make sure that everybody listening to this has a chance to experience the magic.
Oh, yeah. So there's a few different ways. So we have Objection Proof AI. If you go there, you can upload a call, you can upload a transcript, and you'll get the call analysis. That's free. If you want to check out our role play bot, text the word role play, ROLEPLAY, one word, to the phone number 33777. And then the last one, if you want to listen to what our AI bot sounds like in scheduling appointments, if you text the word cash, CASH, to the phone number 33777, you'll get started on figuring out how to recapture all the leads in your CRM, turn that into 100,000, $250,000, or for some instances, guys, I've been in the business for a while, maybe $1 million that's just sitting there in your CRM.
You heard it live directly from the man himself. I will make sure that in all the posts, socials, the recording notes, everywhere you can hear this, I'll make sure all those links and all of those numbers and instructions are in there. Steve, as always, I'm grateful for you coming on with me. It's a pleasure to see you, and thank you so much for coming on That Real Estate Tech Guy.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad we got to talk about some things I don't normally talk about, so awesome. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to another amazing episode of That Real Estate Tech Guy. Head over to thatrealestatetechguy.com to check out all episodes and get special discounts on tons of awesome real estate technology platforms.